Hello and welcome to your April Astrology 2023 forecast. Now this is for everyone. This is a collective message. If you want to know how the astrology affects your specific sign, I will link all the videos done for the April 2023 astrology for each and every sign. All 12 signs will be down below, as well as a link for appreciation of these videos and a link to book readings. So April astrology, interesting month, right? It's a very powerful month. It's a transformative month because we do have a solar eclipse this month. But before we get into that, on the 3rd, we have Mercury in Taurus, where it will stay, right? Mercury will go retrograde this month. So Mercury will have an extended stay in the sign of Taurus. So when Mercury is in Taurus, we are communicating about and thinking about our values, what's important to us. When it comes to purchases, especially when it comes to Taurus, our value when it comes to our relationships. So we're really thinking about what's important, what are we valuing, and how do we communicate that to others, and also have ideas around this so that we can basically generate more income into our lives and more value into our lives. On the 5th, 6th, we have a full moon. Depending on your location, that's why it's the 5th, 6th, in the sign of Libra. Now, Libra will be highlighting our relationships and letting go of the social dynamics within our relationships and things that need to change with our one-on-one relationships a lot. We will just no longer be in the mood to put up with relationships that are creating blockages to our lives, or we find that are not growing, or the relationship is stagnant. We'll be putting ends to this, and we'll be wanting to change to relationships that we really find connection towards. On the 11th, we have Venus in the sign of Gemini. Now, Venus is a planet of love, luxury, and beauty, and Gemini is an air sign. It's about communication, and it's not really a committed sign in the sign of Gemini, especially because of the communication. It's going back and forth, it's communicating to a lot of people. So during Venus and Gemini transits, where it's really good for communicating, right, in relationships and stuff like that. We have a lot of thoughts, we have a lot of ideas, we want to, do different things, we want to seek information, we are very curious. But it's not really a time where people are very prone to commit during Venus and Gemini, because of all the ideas and communication and the back and forth. We must remember that Gemini is a jewel sign. It's a mutable jewel sign. When I say jewel, it's ruled by the twins, the twin energy, so light and dark. And it definitely shows us okay, what are the pros and cons of me committing? What are the pros to it? What are the cons to it? And we are very much in this phase of, especially with Venus and Gemini, is thinking things through. It's not really the sign of heavy commitment. Really good for singles, for communicating and networking and going out there and meeting people. Really good for sending those text messages, having interesting conversations. Even in existing relationships, you can definitely do that. But it's not the time for deep commitment. On the 19th, 20th, depending on your location, there's a solar eclipse happening in the sign of Aries, conjunct Jupiter and Chiron. Now, what is beautiful about this solar eclipse, and I love it. Firstly, it's a fire sign. Secondly, it's in the sign of Aries. We are definitely focusing on ourselves. If you want to find a selfish, a selfish new moon solar eclipse, it's going to be this one in Aries, because we are very much, and that's what the trajectory will be, because the North Node is still in Taurus, but it's really close to Aries, and that's why we have the solar eclipse, because the North Node will be shifting signs in July. On the 17th of July, the North Node will move into the sign of Aries with the North Node there, which will be the trajectory for all of us, that we will all be more focused on ourselves. And that's good news. This is not about gossip. It's not about what's going on with other people, communication. You will be focused on yourself, and that's a good thing. And that's why it's where we are more self-centered, in the energy of not selfishness to the point of which can, if you are already someone that has selfish tendencies, this is where you want more of self. But other than that, if you are someone who people pleases, this is good energy, because you'll be focusing on you. You'll be okay, I don't think I want to give so much of my energy away. What will better my life? And when you go after your goals, when you go after what's important to you, everything else falls into alignment. when we're focused more on our relationships or other people, we are doing ourselves a disservice because we are giving less energy to what's important to us, and we're placing the importance of value outside of ourselves. And that's very hard to always get what we want in life, because the value is outside of ourselves. Our value is dependent on whether that relationship works or whether that job works even. When the energy is in Aries, it's about, what do I want? What's important to me? If it don't work, it's not meant for me. I'm moving forward because I know there's something great for me. That's the energy of Aries. It's like, I will go in the direction that is right for me. I will drive in that direction. I will move in that direction. It's about me. Yes, it's conjunct Jupiter, which offers us a lot of opportunities, expansion, wisdom. However, it is also conjunct Chiron, the wounded healer, so we are more sensitive. This will be a new moon solar eclipse to highlight our wounds, right? To show us maybe where we neglected ourselves, where we neglected what is important to ourselves. And because of that, all of a sudden, we have this massive shift within our lives where we are now more determined, more than ever, to really be focused on ourselves. Because like, oh my goodness, I was focusing on this and this has really hurt me, but now I need to no longer focus on that. I cannot focus on that anymore. I have to focus on what is important to me. So ask yourself what's important to you. I like this. I like self-centered energy, because when we are self-centered and when we are, and I mean in a good way when I say that. I don't mean it in a negative way. I don't mean it like, oh, I'm such a selfish person. I don't care. I'll have lack of consideration for others. You know, I'll blow them off if I need to. It's about me. I'm late, you know, if I want to be, and I don't care kind of energy. Not that kind of energy. I'm talking about the positive self-centered energy. The self-centered energy where you go after your goals, where you actually set aside time for what's important for you, where you actually sit down and write your manifestation list and you invest in yourself and you take action upon those things. That's self-centered too, but you're utilizing it in a way which is better for you, where you are like making yourself, because you are the center of your world. That kind of self-centered energy. You are the center of your world. And if you don't nurture, take care of, focus on you, your goals, your opportunities, it will definitely show in the world around you, because your energy will be placed outside of yourself. Everything about what other people want and matter and how you're giving your energy to others will be impacting you. But when you are doing things that are important to you, the only person that's impacting you is you, and you can change things about you, but you can't change other people. So that's the beautiful thing about this energy. And that's what we'll be going through, because the South Node will be in Libra on the 17th of July, 2023, where it will stay for a year and a half, which is people, the world around us, our connections. That means less of that energy of others and more of energy of focus on self with the North Node. So this will be a taste of that. On the 20th, the Sun will move into Taurus. And the 21st, we have the Sun also in Taurus. So the Sun now moves into Taurus, but it will square Pluto in Aquarius, because these are both fixed signs and Pluto just moved into Aquarius. This can create tension and manipulation with people around us. And this depends where it's happening in your chart, where people around you will be, trying to manipulate or gain power over you, and you'll be more in the process of focusing on what's value and alignment to you. As long as you stay true to that integrity, it will be beneficial to you, especially when coming against manipulation or what others want. This is a very much, because it's Pluto, there's power. So people want power over you, but you need to focus on your values and what's important to you. On the 21st, Mercury goes retrograde for next 3 weeks until the 14th of May, 2023. So Mercury retrogrades are not something to be afraid of. And knowing about them won't bring you bad luck, right? Mercury retrogrades are just a time to be aware that it can bring misunderstandings, miscommunication, delays, and inconveniences to travel, technology difficulties, stuff like that. So if we need to book a flight or plan a trip somewhere, we need to make sure we go earlier than expected, because we might meet with traffic along the way. Inconvenience, right? So you need to be prepared. That's the thing. So write down what you need to do. Check and double check the time that you are leaving. Make sure you have everything that you need before you go. Give yourself enough time to get to that place before you get to that place, appointment, trip, wherever you're booking yourself to go to, or appointments too. And that will be best for you, so that you have preparation for these inconveniences. Inconveniences can happen, delays can happen during a Mercury retrograde. And when you're aware of these inconveniences and delays, know that the energy is slowing down, and that happens. But the awareness helps you not to be as frustrated, knowing that, oh, this is Mercury retrograde, it won't last forever, and things will shift. Mercury retrogrades, though, are very intuitive times where we're more in touch with our intuition. Think of your mind being like, on a slowdown. So once your mind is on the slowdown, we are very in tune to the energies around us and what's happening around us. So listen to your intuition. You can be feeling tired and exhausted during this time. Give yourself breaks and times to take out time for you. And also when you have to sign contracts, read before you sign anything, so you're aware of what you're signing. That's all. Give yourself prep time during a Mercury retrograde energy. Mercury retrograde is really good for completing anything that you started previously. You can also be rewarded for things that you started previously. This Mercury retrograde, especially because it's happening in the sign of Taurus, and Taurus rules our resources, income, skills, and talents. So if there's skills or something you wanted to do previously to enhance your skills, you can now do it. If there were income ideas that you had, you can now complete it. You're not starting something new. If you come up with a random idea of something to do with your income over during Mercury retrograde, don't do it. Give yourself a moment. And because it's happening in the sign of Taurus, it does affect our income. So be prepared that you are redoing, reevaluating, and completing past projects that you're working on when it comes to your finances, incomes, and value, but you're not starting anything new, and you can get payouts for work that was previously done during this Mercury retrograde. So if there must have been delays previously with your payouts, now you can actually receive them. You will be reevaluating, the people around you, as well as, because Taurus rules value, it will reevaluate your relationships, reevaluate your finances, reevaluate your life, where you're spending your money, what you're doing with your time. Is this of value to you? And that's the important thing, because when we have relationships of value that support us and got our back, it's empowering. But when we have relationships that are disempowering to us, that's lacking value. And do we really need that energy in our lives? And those are the questions that this Mercury retrograde will bring to us. Thank you so much for watching, and do watch your videos linked down below, as well as a link for appreciation of these videos, and a link also if you'd like to book a reading.